All right, Jeremy here, Jeeps Unlimited, partsbreakers.com, 303-666-9020. Listing a TJ tub, early 97 to 01. You can watch our videos on YouTube, take a look at the differences. Not very much, but something I do like to point out. Had one of the guys strip this thing down while I was gone, and they got it somewhat stripped down. There's a couple weird things they left in it, so I'll have to have them do that. A couple harnesses. I think they just ran out of time on it. But nonetheless, washing it, doing the video, kind of helps me kind of grade them as I have done for the past 20 years. So you'll be able to see this as if you were standing here next to me. That's kind of the whole point to these videos. A couple things I'll point out as I go through. Something like the soft top brackets, those were supposed to be removed. So I know it may seem insignificant, but the stuff like that is a part that we inventory. Not sure why they left the seat riser in it on that side. They might have stripped the bolt off, so I'll make sure they pull that. Not that you need just one riser anyway. Oh, pain there. Yeah, so they lined the floors, but they didn't line the sides, which actually is kind of cool because normally people either like liners or they don't. This one's almost in the places that would otherwise have an issues as far as rubbing, carpet rubbing through, causing bare metal rusting. So that's kind of nice, especially if you didn't want it lined. This might be tolerable to you because, again, the sides aren't lined, just the floors essentially have it. And the way they did it almost looked factory, but this is not the way they come. It is bare metal. Maybe it should have been. Matter of fact, on the JKs from 2012 and up, they do a liner on them now, but they're painted the same color, which you could technically do as well. But just want to put that out of the way. So overall, this tub is pretty solid. It's a B grade, and it's a B grade because the torque pockets, where I like to call, are starting to show wear. So they're not broken, they're not collapsed yet, and there's no broken bolts in them, but you're starting to see what would happen if we hadn't caught this tub where we did. So I do want to point that out, and I will lift it up here in a second and show you those. I did wash the underside. It's been sitting on the ground, so it might have a little dirt under there again, but you'll be able to see that. So let's just start from the sides here. So left rear corner, these corners are actually in really good shape. They're a little dirty. I washed it, but I think spray back got on them again. So the roll bar we will include on this one. Depending on how it ships, whether we use a hot shot or whether we do something else, may depend on if that stays in it. That doesn't mean you won't get it, okay? So, and if you want us to pull, some people like to have them pulled because they want to see what's underneath the feet of the front here, because that is a rust area. I can tell you from just looking at the bottom inner fender here, let's zoom in there real quick. There shouldn't be any rust in that area just because how clean that section is. And typically you start seeing rust at the seam. So this tub would be an A+ if it wasn't showing signs of those torque pockets starting to show weakness. But again, if you're looking to save a couple bucks, we don't get a lot of tubs. They're either usually gone or they're good. So an in-between tub for that area, and I'll show you that here in a second, definitely going to save you. Well, it could save you almost a delivery cost on one of these things. So it's a significant amount. Just depends on where you're at. So, okay. And this same thing, it's clean, but I get spray back on it there. So that corner, and a lot of times, even on our clean grade A tubs, they're going to have dings, dents. The corners love to get beat up on these Jeeps. People back into stuff all the time, but these are really clean. There's absolutely no body work anyway that I seen on it, and we'll go through them. These are where the flares were. A couple of the bolts the guys grinded off to get the flares off, so not uncommon. Those things are kind of a bugger to get off. The lower rockers are really clean. The cowling is beautiful. There's no rust up there. This is where your wiper assemblies go, and got a little dirt in here, but you can see it's just nice and clean underneath all that. So I'll do another wash on it once the guys get the last bit of parts pulled on it, but it doesn't really need it. Firewall is beautiful. So all right, and I wanted to put it up on this side here, but it's going to be tricky because there's rocks and I don't want to damage the side of this thing. So I'll probably have to do a different video. Actually, you know what? Let me just pick it up with the forklift. I don't usually do it this way because the forks kind of get in the way, but you'll be able to see it still. So bear with me, you'll see the sky here in a second. I did buy a fancy camera that will start tracking me, which is kind of cool, but I use it on this trip to kind of videographer, I guess you could say. My last East Coast trip, just because we always have people that wonder about them, so thought that'd be kind of fun. And because of that, I have a ton of video I gotta now make the time to go through, so, or just delete it. We'll see. Do this 100 times and it works fine, and then you go to do it. Bite on it, so I apologize. That was a little longer than you normally have you guys wait. All right, so all this wiring crap will get off of here. I should have gone up a little higher. Yeah, let me raise it up just a little bit. I'm a little taller than I thought I was. Today it was a little nerve-wracking. The other day I had one up like this. All right, so this is what I'm talking about here. So you see this torque pocket? It's good, there's no cracking, but you're starting to see a little discoloration. Okay, so I know that seems petty, but I take a lot of pride in my stuff, and I want you to do the same when you get it. And for us, it's easier to show you something that might be potentially there than not show you it, and then you find something later. So, okay, this one's pretty good still, but you're starting to see a little bit, the paint's wearing off. You can kind of see the bare, okay? Threads are still good in it. Like I said, there's nothing broke on them. And there's still a little dirt here that I didn't get off, and I'm gonna count them out because I always do that on my videos. So we have 10 total here. There's one up on the front. Obviously, we don't have the clip on it. So, okay, so we got one there, and that one's beautiful. And two. You can see that one's better there, zoomed. Okay, you can start seeing it right there too. And then this one's pretty good actually, 3. Okay, and then these back ones look great. There's that, 4. And I didn't get these hit very hard. I'm getting water in my phone. 5. And then 6, that one looks good. 7. And 8. And 9, and that one's actually pretty good too. So it's just the one. And like I said, there'll still be a significant seam. So this e-brake thing will pull off. I don't know, somebody had some sort of, looked like they were doing some MacGyver stuff on that thing. But overall, that tub underneath, the tunnel is in great shape. This is all crap. The exhaust skid, we usually pull those anyway. Sometimes people want them. A lot of times when we're doing this, picking them up and stuff, they get a little beat up. So if I know somebody's wanting one beforehand, when we get them in, we're ripping the frame and stuff out from under it, we usually will pull them in. But you can see how clean the back area is here, the rocker, everything like that. So it's still a solid, I mean, you can almost put it as an A-, but anytime I see anything at all like that, I always put them down to at least a B on it. And that's, like I said, it's a little unfortunate. I mean, this tub is a quality tub otherwise. So if you want to take a shot on it, I would, and save some money, that's a good possibility or potential. So I'll leave it up in the air so I can get photos of the bottom, and I'll wrap this video up. And for those of you, I know I went on a trip. Most of you guys know that. I've been that kind of follow along. I drove from Colorado all the way out to Maryland, and I double backed up to Toronto. Actually went into Canada. It's not as bad as they say, although I didn't have a big American flag on my truck. That might have been not well taken, but no, even the border crossing was super easy. They were nice. I had all my ducks in a row before I went over, so that might have helped. And then leaving, it was actually easier getting in than it was out. And that was just because there was a freaking massive line. Maybe that was to do with some of the stuff going on. It's hard to say. But anyway, we have had, over the years, I probably have sold upwards to a couple hundred TJ tubs. And usually there's a good amount on hand. We have a few left. We don't have a lot left. It's good and bad problem, right? I mean, the problem is getting old enough now that people, and they're holding their value in different ways. So the ones that I have right now, besides that one, just to give you a little bit of a thing. Now that guy I know has got kind of similar on this one, the one I just put up. This is a white one. This is a nice tub. This one does have, it's the same, it's always at center one for some reason. And I'll have to video this one on its own, but it's got both sides that are starting to go. They're not broke, but they're starting to go. So that one will be discounted in that same range, and that's an early one. This is a probably an 02, because you can tell because of firewall. We do set these up. If you're going to use one on the other, it's easiest to buy this one or buy something like this and use it on an early. And that's only because of rear seat. Because this still uses the early style rear seat. You can do the later one, but you have to modify the rear seat or change the rear seat out. And we have done this many times. Matter of fact, we're shipping one to Maine here, hopefully any day now. And that's what that one was. The color he wanted happened to be in an 02. So I had Jim come in, and he doesn't charge us too much, and we just cut a hole. And we actually have a template for it, so it comes out real clean. And really, you only need to do that if you're doing it on an early. If you notice the heater box, that's what the heater box blower motor protrudes from. So, and somebody else, you guys can more than capable of doing it. It's just something we offer if you do decide to go with like something like this. So, I think thought this one was listed, but I don't believe it is. So, since this one's out and basically ready to go, I'll probably get this one up next. And it looks clean. I mean, it's always I say that and then I get them in the air, and it's been a while since I did these. These got dismantled a couple months ago, and we're just now getting to. This one could be a good one too. So mark this one as a potential for your 9701 guys. That was rolled, so that was more, and it's got a long arm cut frame under it. So these funny enough, especially when they're rust free, have a market for them, especially when people are building crawlers out of them. So don't, just because you see really nice tubs and maybe pricing you don't want to spend, if you're just building something you're going to go beat on, don't discount the fact that we do have some of these. I don't usually list them. I usually just wait for the calls to come in and I show them that way. Just because we're so busy, it's hard to do. It's hard to get on the stuff that doesn't meet like high standards for us. Okay. And then this one I know is not good. It's got rust in it. This has got floor. Again, compared to East Coast, Midwest, it's a prom queen, as they say. It needs to be washed, but it's actually not bad for that reason. But there's a couple other issues with this one. So it's got a little rust over there. The bottom actually doesn't look too bad on this one, but it does have damage on the corner. You can see the corners coming apart there. So somebody hit it and then maybe try to fix it. It's hard to say. So again, this one might be available eventually, or somebody's looking for a real bargain cheap tub they're going to build a crawler out of, especially if they're going to be cutting their wheel wells, because that's going to be trimmed anyway. But otherwise, I think I was going to walk the yard real quick because I haven't done that since I've been back. We've got some cool stuff in, but with that blue one that I just seen there, I'm going to go ahead and move it to the wash pad. I'll finish my photos on this green one, and then I'll get it listed. And if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, let us know. Real quick on a different note, this is a 76 CJ5 tub. I actually have two right now. We just got in. I think it's a 76, 77, somewhere there. I have the other one up the house I know is a 76. Anyway, other one up the house is a definitely workable tub. They're almost identical. This one And we'll have to get the chrome off the bottom. That's actually a factory option on the Renegades, the Laredos and whatnot. But for anybody that knows somebody looking for a CJ5 tub, I'm not going to show this one too much, but I will tell you, out of 20 years of doing it, I don't get a lot of good, clean CJ5s. I mean, we get some nice ones out here that are rust-free, but there's usually always damage on them. And that tub right there, if everything checks out, that's going to be not only an A, but it might be one of the few A pluses we've had out of this yard. So, and CJ tubs in general, a lot of people, you'll hear me say this a lot, especially on the 7s, we're not parting them out that often unless they come in like that, where there's just not much left on the body. We have other CJ5 tubs that are, again, decent, a lot better than what you're finding out there, what you're probably dealing with. But cream of the crop, that's going to be it. As far as 7 tubs, I'm sold out of them. We moved the last one. These are all junk, at least junk in my opinion. You can use a YJ tub, which we have a couple left, solid ones, not a lot. And that conversion isn't too hard to do. So if you know anybody needs either a YJ or CJ7 tub, definitely give them our number. Because once we peel through these, it's different times we're in. I keep saying over the years, we'll get to this point. I have a feeling we're kind of there. The pricing on them is now they're selling for as much or maybe even more, depending on what it is, than you can get out of parting them. And I'll tell you, from doing this for, like I said, over 20 years, some of these old timers that are out there will tell you this too, especially when it comes to the Broncos and stuff. You don't find a lot of yards parting them. I had a guy call me a couple weeks ago about a Bronco part. And he said, I just can't believe I can't find any Bronco parts. And it's like, well, I can. I mean, when you get 60 grand for one of those things as a complete, restoration, I mean, they're worth building. So the CJs are starting to pull really good numbers. Not quite that good, but they're pulling good numbers. These YJs are starting to come online. The TJs they're kind of ahead of the YJ right now with that. So, we'll do this as long as we can. And if we have to, we'll start doing what we used to and buying them in parts that people have started projects on and finish them. But, yeah, I might be looking for other work here in a couple of years. Even the TJs really, I really was floored this time coming back to this trip and thinking that, I had talked to several people looking for tubs and thinking, oh, I got tubs for days, because you just have in the back of your mind that time when you had them forever, and then you go back here and look, and there's not a lot of them back here. We have a couple that are, there's at least 1 or 2 out here that have not been dismantled yet. But that's about it as far as our TJ tubs go. And both of those, one is definitely a late 03 to 06. It came off in 06. And the other one is an early. It's a purple one. And that one should be good. But again, until we get it pulled apart, it's kind of hard to say. So only a couple of the JK tubs as well. But anyway, I know you came for this TJ tub, so we'll cut it off there. If anybody's just looking for torque pockets, we don't do that again very often because we got to get a tub that's damaged in to cut them. But when we get one in, we will sell it. That one right there is a perfect tub to get torque pockets out of. It was a rollover, not a real hard one. I mean, it didn't even really wrinkle the whole roll bar, but it's enough that it's that tub, unless somebody was building the crawler out of it. But that bottom, and if that bottom wasn't as clean as it was, that thing would be crushed already. But that bottom is probably the cleanest torque pocket channel I've ever seen, both sides in my life. It is absolutely gorgeous. So again, that's going to be a nice one to get that off of if you guys are looking for those. We have a set cut actually already at the front, so if you want to see what that looks like, and we kind of do it a little bit invasive. We cut those out and give you a ton of room, really, to do it right. You take what we send you and take a what are they called, spot welder drill, the cutter, I can't remember the name for them. And you just take your time and go through them and clean them up, and you can literally spot weld them back in. We don't do it that way for a couple reasons. One, you'd pay a lot more for them because there's a lot more time in them. And two, some people don't do it that way. Some people will hastily just kind of get them up in there and replace what they're going with. So really the person that fits that could still almost just as much, maybe even more work than a tub replacement, because you still got to get the frame out from under it to do it. At least to do it. I mean, I've seen guys kind of wiggle them up in there, and yeah, there's ways. I'm sure there's a way, right? But there's I don't even know where I was going to go with that. Shoot, there goes my train of thought. So anyway, again, Jeremy here, Jeeps Unlimited, partsbreakers.com, 303-666-9020. I'll keep working at getting more Jeeps in. I do have a really nice TJ that just came in, only 108,000 miles. I'm not saying it's nice because the body is beat on the thing, but it has got something we don't do a lot of. And honestly, had I seen all the stuff on it, I wouldn't even bought it. And that's because we pay a lot for these things. But we will make our money back out of it. It's got a lot of cool accessories, things that we do not go after because we really are an OEM yard. I put a video up of it today. You can check it out on our YouTube channel. It was listed this morning. It's probably like 8-9 minutes long, and it's on a 98. It's a blue one, hard top doors. But take a look at the long arm. It's got a Rubicon Express long arm. If you know anybody or yourself, if dealing with a rusty frame and wanted to already had a long arm, or maybe you wanted to do that upgrade when you got a frame, that's got it on it. It's a good kit. It's also got a set of the front's either a Rock Jock 44 or something else big. It's got something big in it. We haven't even popped the covers on it yet. Again, it's only got 108K on it. I almost flipped that one, and then I came back and seen how bad the body's beat on it. But yeah, I think that one will just end up piecing out. So anybody doing any kind of upgrades with the off-road department, that's something I'll tell you straight up. We do not seek that kind of Jeep. When we get them, that's great. We'll pedal them off as quickly as we can because they're all non-inventory items for us. So you won't be able to call us in a year and say, hey, do you ever get a set? I'll tell you no, because it's like I said, if I seen that thing in person, I probably wouldn't have bought it in the first place. I'd rather have a set of factory axles. Now, with that said, I know there's money in them. We'll be able to pedal them off. I'll probably do a trade on it with the guy that called earlier. But if not, it's still available. And again, that's 303-666-9020. Take a look at that one because it's definitely got some good stuff under that one. So, and low miles motor.